Beloved chosen one, pause for a moment. Don't scroll. Don't rush. Don't distract yourself. Heaven itself has interrupted your timeline for a reason. This is not coincidence. This is divine orchestration. You were meant to read these words. You were meant to feel this stirring in your spirit, that holy unease, that gentle pull within your chest is not random emotion. It's a heavenly signal. Something inside of you has been restless lately. You can't explain it, but you can feel it, a sense that something is shifting, that the atmosphere around your life is changing. You have outgrown the places that once felt safe. The conversations that used to fill you now drain you. The things that once made sense no longer fit. That's not confusion. That's transformation. Heaven is calling you higher. You, chosen one, are being summoned out of the ordinary. You were never created to blend in with the noise. Your spirit carries a frequency that disrupts darkness. That is why you've been feeling tension. That is why your peace has been shaken. The Holy Spirit is trying to get your attention. When heaven wants to move you, it begins by stirring you. This is your stirring moment. The tug you feel is not punishment, it's preparation. God is not angry with you, He's awakening you. He is aligning your steps with destiny. The same spirit that hovered over the deep in Genesis is now hovering over the deep places within you, ready to speak life again. There is purpose in your pause. The reason you couldn't go back to what you left is because heaven has already closed that door. What's behind you cannot sustain what's coming next. Don't fight it. Don't force yourself to fit where God has already removed your grace to stay. The unease you feel is not rejection, it's redirection. You've been praying for confirmation, haven't you? Asking God, if this feeling is from you, give me a sign. Beloved, this is that sign. The very fact that these words reached you is evidence that heaven is speaking directly to your heart. You didn't stumble upon this. You were sent here. Listen closely. God is not asking for your perfection. He's asking for your attention. The next season of your life requires focus, obedience, and sensitivity to His voice. Every time you ignore the nudge, you delay your breakthrough. But every time you respond in faith, heaven accelerates your path. The key is not to understand everything, it's to trust the one who knows everything. Let the noise fall away for a moment. Close your eyes and feel that gentle pressure on your heart. That's the Holy Spirit whispering, "Come back to me. You've wandered long enough. It's time to step into alignment." The same voice that spoke to Abraham in the night, that whispered to Elijah in the cave, that called Mary by name, that same eternal voice is calling you right now. Heaven speaks clearly through the words recorded in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 27. My sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me. That is your confirmation. You're not crazy. You're not overthinking. You are hearing heaven. You are being drawn by the voice of the shepherd who has never stopped calling your name. So, take this moment seriously. Don't let it pass like another notification. This is your invitation to alignment, to peace, to divine direction. Don't ignore the holy nudge in your spirit. Yield to it. Obey it. Because obedience in this moment will unlock the doors you've been praying to open. If this message resonates with your spirit, type 999 inches, the comments, as a prophetic declaration that you choose to listen and obey. Like this message. Share it with another chosen one who needs to wake up. And make sure you subscribe, because heaven has started a conversation with you. And this is only the beginning. You see, when you respond to heaven's whisper, you are not just acknowledging it, you are activating it. Every act of obedience creates movement in the spiritual realm. What seems small to you, a simple comment, a moment of agreement, a whispered yes becomes thunder in the unseen world. Angels are dispatched. Alignment begins. And suddenly, what was delayed starts to unfold in divine timing. Your obedience today will ripple far beyond this moment. There are lives connected to your yes. There are destinies that will awaken because you decided not to ignore that holy nudge. You are not only being called, you are being commissioned. You are part of heaven's chain reaction of awakening. A wave of light in a generation that has forgotten how to listen. So, stand firm. Chosen one, let your yes echo boldly. Heaven has heard it. The earth will feel it. And hell will fear it. This is your turning point. Your sacred intersection. You are stepping into alignment with divine purpose, and nothing will ever be the same again. The whisper that won't be silent, that's what has been echoing inside your chest. It's gentle, yet persistent. It doesn't shout like fear or demand like pride. It simply lingers, waiting for you to acknowledge it. You've tried to distract yourself, to reason it away, to call it imagination. But deep down, you know it's real. The Holy Spirit does not always come with thunder. Sometimes he arrives as a whisper that refuses to fade. There is a reason you can't shake that feeling. The voice of God has been tracing your steps, speaking in the silence between your thoughts. Every time you pause, every time your heart aches for something more, he speaks again. You hear him in the still moments before sleep, in the quiet tears that fall for reasons you can't explain, in the tug that says, "There's something greater waiting." That whisper is heaven reminding you that you belong to something eternal. You have mistaken it at times for anxiety or indecision. You've wondered if it's just your mind overthinking. But, beloved, what you are sensing is not mental noise, it's spiritual frequency. God speaks softly because he desires intimacy. He could command you with fire and storm, but instead he leans close and says, "Come closer." His whisper is not to confuse you, but to draw you near enough to hear his heartbeat. There's a sacred reason why he whispers, because whispers can only be heard by those who are close. If you've been feeling his voice grow quieter, it's not because he's gone, it's because he's inviting you to move closer. The whisper means he trusts you with secrets. It means you've reached a place of maturity where his instructions are no longer public, but private, tailor-made for your spirit. You might ask, why me? Why now? Because you have reached a divine threshold. Heaven whispers loudest when destiny is near. You've walked through storms that were meant to silence you, but they didn't. You've survived the shaking, the pruning, the confusion, and now that your heart has been stripped of distractions, you can finally hear the sound beneath the sound, his whisper. Sometimes, his whisper comes as conviction. You'll feel that inner nudge, that gentle "don't do it" when you're about to compromise. Other times, it comes as comfort, a peace that defies logic when you should be breaking. That's the paradox of his presence. He both corrects and comforts. The whisper carries both sword and healing oil. It cuts what must die and soothes what must live. You remember those moments when you walked away from something that looked perfect but felt wrong. That wasn't fear, that was guidance. The whisper warned you. The spirit within you spoke. Even when others couldn't understand your decision, you didn't miss out, you were protected. Heaven's whisper has been shielding you from counterfeits disguised as blessings. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Elijah, reminding us that God's presence was not in the earthquake, nor the fire, but in the gentle whisper. The same truth echoes for you now. The whisper is holy. It is sacred. It carries the weight of eternity in its softness. When you respond, heaven moves. When you ignore it, the heart grows dull. That is why your sensitivity must remain alive. Heaven speaks again through the writings in the book of Proverbs. Chapter 3, verse 6. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Foundation of the whisper acknowledgement. The more you acknowledge his presence in the small moments, the clearer his direction becomes in the great ones. God doesn't need you to be perfect. He needs you to be attentive. You've been asking for answers, but heaven has been asking for your ear. The whisper is not meant to confuse, it's meant to align. It's a compass for your soul. It will never contradict the word, never push you toward pride, never fuel fear. It will always lead you toward peace, humility, and faith. The key is discernment, to recognize his tone amid the noise of your mind. Right now, he is speaking again, not in a voice you hear with your ears, but in one that resonates in your spirit. You feel it as warmth, as conviction, as the sudden knowing that this message is not just for someone, it's for you. The whisper inside is heaven saying, I'm still here. I've never stopped guiding you. So breathe. Let the noise of the world fade for a moment. Return to that quiet place within where you can feel his pulse. The whisper has been waiting, patient and powerful. It has guided prophets, kings, and ordinary hearts for generations. And now it has found you. Don't run from it this time. Don't call it coincidence or emotion. Embrace it. Because when you finally stop resisting and start listening, you'll realize that the whisper you've been hearing isn't just God trying to reach you. It's God reminding you that he's been walking beside you all along. Heaven's algorithm, that's what's unfolding right now. Chosen one. Nothing about this moment is random. You didn't just happen to stop here. Divine timing intercepted your scrolling. You're wondering. This is the evidence that heaven still governs even the smallest details of your life. You are not out of order, you are in divine sequence. You see, there is an invisible order operating beneath every coincidence. The Spirit of God arranges moments like puzzle pieces, every delay, every detour, every disappointment, forming a pattern only visible from heaven's view. You thought you were off schedule, but you've been exactly on time in the language of eternity. When you look back, you'll realize that even your pauses were prophetic. That's how heaven's algorithm works. The world calls it chance, but the chosen call it destiny. The steps of the righteous are not random, they are orchestrated. You've been guided here not by curiosity, but by calling. That whisper you heard yesterday led you here today. And what you receive now will prepare you for what's coming tomorrow. There are no accidents in the life of one who walks with God. Every encounter carries intention. Even the moments that broke you were allowed so that something inside you could awaken. Heaven calculates every moment. Even your pain is data in God's design. What you lost didn't vanish. It was exchanged for wisdom. What was delayed wasn't denied. It was divinely redirected. So don't resent the pauses. Don't despise the process. The algorithm of heaven isn't built on speed, it's built on preparation. Sometimes, what feels like silence is actually strategy. God is never late, He's never early, He's precise. He moves according to eternal timing, not emotional urgency. The breakthrough you're praying for may already be in motion, but heaven releases it when your spirit is mature enough to carry it. Look back for a moment. How many times did you think something was ending, only to discover it was a beginning in disguise? How many wrong turns led you to the exact place you were supposed to be? You see, heaven doesn't waste steps. It rewrites your missteps into messages. Even your failures become prophetic breadcrumbs leading you back to purpose. You might be wondering, then why did it hurt so much? Because pain is often the proof of process. Diamonds are born under pressure. Gold is purified by fire. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. The algorithm of heaven had to test the structure of your heart before it could trust you with greater weight. God won't elevate what He cannot anchor. When you understand that, you stop fighting the pattern. You begin to flow with it. You start to see that closed doors are protection, not rejection, that unanswered prayers are divine redirections. You realize that every detour was mercy wearing a disguise. You see, chosen one, the delay that frustrated you was actually saving you from destruction. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." That's the divine algorithm summarized in one eternal truth. Everything, even the pain, is working for your good. The code of heaven cannot fail. So, when things don't make sense, trust the pattern. When doors close, trust the algorithm. When silence lingers, trust that something is being recalculated in your favor. You might not see it yet, but heaven is rearranging the timeline to align with your destiny. The right connections, the right timing, the right opportunities, they are all being positioned behind the scenes. God doesn't need your panic, He needs your patience. He doesn't need your perfection, He needs your posture, one of faith, stillness, and trust. When you surrender to His design, you allow heaven to synchronize everything around you. It's not about striving anymore, it's about surrendering. So here's what I want you to do. Pause and breathe. Think of everything that didn't go your way, and instead of mourning it, thank God for protecting you through it. That relationship that failed, it wasn't failure, it was freedom. That opportunity that vanished, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. That waiting season, it wasn't punishment, it was positioning. Every data point of your life is sacred code written by divine intelligence. Type "I trust you" below as your declaration, short but powerful. Let it be your response to heaven's order, because the moment you say it, the algorithm begins to shift again. You move from confusion into clarity, from striving into flow. You become one who no longer resists the process, but cooperates with it. When you trust Him, you stop chasing signs because you become one. Your life itself becomes evidence that God's pattern is perfect. So don't fear the unknown. The same hand that wrote the stars is writing your story. Every second is accounted for. Every detail has purpose. You are not lost in randomness. You are found in divine rhythm. The weight you've been carrying, that invisible heaviness that follows you, even in laughter, the kind that presses on your chest in the quiet hours of the night. You've learned to smile through it, to function with it, to pretend it doesn't exist. But heaven sees it. God has watched you carry burdens that were never meant to be yours. The unseen load of expectation, disappointment, and silent endurance. He has witnessed every ounce of it. You've been the strong one for too long, the one who holds everyone together, who listens, who forgives, who keeps going even when no one checks if you're okay. And though you've carried it with grace, heaven never intended for you to bear it alone. The weight that bends your shoulders was meant to be lifted by divine hands, but you've grown so accustomed to survival that surrender feels foreign. Beloved chosen one, the heaviness you feel is not a curse, it's a signal. It's heaven's way of telling you that your spirit is overdue for release. The tears that come unexpectedly, the fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, the ache that words can't explain, those are not weakness. They are signs that your soul has been stretched beyond human strength. The season you're in is not punishment, it's purification. You've been asking why the journey has felt so lonely, so misunderstood. It's because God has been refining you in isolation. The people who walked away weren't meant to carry this phase of your calling. They couldn't survive the pressure designed to purify you. The weight you feel is not only personal, it's generational. You are breaking cycles that existed long before you were born. You are carrying freedom for those who come after you. There's a moment in every chosen life when the weight becomes almost unbearable. It's the threshold between who you were and who you are becoming. You stand in the tension of transformation, too heavy to go back, too called to remain the same. That's where you are right now. But even here, God whispers, you are not forgotten. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 55, verse 22, cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. That's your release, your permission to exhale. The weight you've carried so long is not meant to define you, it's meant to deliver you into deeper dependence. Heaven isn't impressed by your strength, it is moved by your surrender. There is a false strength the world celebrates, the kind that says, I don't need anyone, I can handle it myself. But divine strength begins where human independence ends. When you finally admit, God, I can't do this anymore. Heaven answers, good, now let me. You were never built to carry this much pain alone. Every burden that has weighed you down, regret, shame, unhealed grief, it's time to place it in His hands. The weight may not vanish overnight, but as you release it, it begins to lose its grip. God replaces heaviness with peace, pressure with purpose. The same load that crushed you becomes the testimony that carries others. You begin to understand why it had to be you, because only someone who has carried such weight can speak freedom with authority. Sometimes, God allows the weight to linger just long enough to teach you rhythm, how to rest, how to rely, how to breathe again. He's not trying to break you, He's trying to build endurance. The difference between the weary and the wise is not the absence of weight, but the presence of grace beneath it. Grace is the invisible strength that lifts what flesh cannot. Think of every season when you wanted to quit but didn't. That wasn't willpower, that was divine reinforcement. The Spirit was under you, like unseen arms holding you above the collapse. Every time you whispered, I can't, heaven responded, you already are. You kept walking. even limping. Because your assignment wasn't finished yet. You carried more than most because you were built differently. The weight has shaped you into someone heaven can trust. You've learned compassion through pain, wisdom through waiting, humility through heartbreak. You've been pressed, but not crushed, bent, but not broken. And now, heaven is preparing to exchange your burdens for blessings, the oil of joy for mourning, garments of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Do you feel that subtle shift inside? That's the sound of chains loosening. The atmosphere around you is changing. The heaviness you feel right now is not your ending. It's your turning point. Soon, what weighed you down will become the very testimony that lifts others. So, breathe deeply. Chosen one, let your shoulders drop. The same hands that stretched out the heavens are reaching toward you now. You don't have to carry it all anymore. Lay it down. You are not being weakened, you are being lightened. You are being positioned for peace. The weight you've carried has taught you to trust the unseen. And now heaven whispers, rest. You've done enough. I'll take it from here. You are being summoned not by man, not by mere circumstance, but by heaven itself. The call that has been echoing in your spirit is not suggestion, it is assignment. The gentle whisper has now become a command, and the time for hesitation has ended. God is not only awakening you, He is summoning you into divine alignment. Beloved chosen one, do you feel it? The urgency that presses on your heart, the invisible pull that keeps you awake at night. You are not restless without reason. The King is calling His soldiers to attention. The trumpet has sounded in the unseen realm, and your spirit, even if your mind doesn't fully understand, has already responded. Here I am. There are seasons when heaven speaks softly, and there are seasons when heaven calls boldly. This is the latter. The command is clear. Step forward. You are being repositioned for a mission greater than comfort, greater than personal gain. You are being invited into divine participation to become a vessel of light in a world that's losing its sense of direction. Imagine a lighthouse standing on a storm-beaten cliff. Its walls are scarred by wind and rain, yet its light never wavers. That is you. You have endured storms, not so you could hide, but so your light could guide others. The summons of heaven is not to perfection, but to purpose. Your cracks don't disqualify you, they amplify the light that shines through you. When heaven calls, the response cannot be halfway. This is not the time for partial obedience. You have been through too much, seen too much, survived too much to stay silent now. You are being asked to move, not in haste, but in faith, because obedience is the currency that unlocks divine momentum. When you move, heaven moves with you. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 10. So now, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. That same sending spirit rests upon you now. Moses didn't feel ready. He stuttered. He doubted. He feared, and yet heaven still chose him. The same is true for you. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You are being summoned not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. Maybe you're wondering, what can I even do? I'm just one person. But remember, so was David. So was Esther. So was Elijah. Heaven never measures power by number. It measures it by surrender. One yielded heart can shift an entire generation. You may feel small, but within you burns an authority that darkness recognizes. You were born to be a carrier of divine presence, not a spectator in your own story. Think of your obedience like a seed. When you sow it into the ground of faith, it doesn't die, it multiplies. Every act of yes creates ripple effects you may never see. You might share a word, a prayer, or a message that reaches someone on the verge of giving up. And in that moment, you've partnered with heaven's rescue plan. This is why you are being summoned not to do everything, but to do your part faithfully. And just as the lighthouse cannot shine without oil, the mission of light in this world cannot burn without fuel. If these messages feed your spirit, let your response also be fuel for the flame. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, it's not about building numbers, it's about spreading light. You become part of the echo of heaven reaching another soul in darkness. And if your heart is moved to go deeper, to help keep this beacon shining, to help more voices be reached, to strengthen this mission, you can even sow a seed of love, a donation, an offering that carries your gratitude into action, not out of obligation, but as worship. Every seed, no matter how small, becomes oil for the next light to shine. Think of it like rain watering a field you may never walk in. Someone else's breakthrough could be the harvest that grows from your faithfulness. Heaven measures generosity not by amount, but by alignment. When you give into the flow of purpose, you are saying, Lord, I believe in what you're doing here. So, chosen one, stand tall. The summons has been sent, and your response is being recorded in eternity. This is your time to rise, to walk in divine obedience, and to partner with heaven's move on earth. The world doesn't need another echo of noise. It needs a voice of clarity, a vessel of fire, a living testimony that light still conquers darkness. You are that vessel. You are that light. You are heaven's answer to someone's silent prayer. Don't hide the flame. Let your obedience burn bright. Because when you say yes to the summons, all of heaven leans forward and the world begins to change. Signs you've tried to dismiss, the divine breadcrumbs scattered across your days that you've labeled as coincidence. Though your spirit knew better, you've seen the same numbers again and again, heard the same phrases whispered through strangers, felt the same pull towards something you couldn't name. You tried to silence it, to rationalize it, to say, it's just in my head. But heaven has been speaking all along, and the pattern you keep noticing is not random, it's revelation. You've been living inside a conversation between God and your destiny. And though the language has been subtle, it has never stopped. Every repetition, every déjà vu, every unexpected dream, these are not accidents. They are confirmations. God has been weaving reminders into your reality, hoping you'd stop long enough to notice. You are not crazy for seeing patterns. You are simply sensitive to heaven's frequency. The world has tried to teach you to ignore what cannot be explained. But faith teaches you to listen to what cannot be denied. When your spirit is awake, the ordinary becomes prophetic. A song lyric, a cloud's shape, a stranger's kindness, they all become instruments of divine communication. Heaven doesn't always speak through thunder. Sometimes it speaks through patterns that whisper. Pay attention. Those repeated signs you've been brushing off are like divine post-its stuck to your timeline. God is saying, I've been here. I'm guiding you. Stop doubting what your spirit already knows. Think back. Chosen one, how many times have you prayed for direction, only to be met with the same sign appearing in new places? That's not obsession, that's confirmation. You are not imagining the connection between your prayers and what you see next. The Creator of the universe has personalized your communication. You are living inside a divine dialogue. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 1, in the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets at many times and in various ways. That various ways includes the whispers, the numbers, the songs, the sudden peace that falls over you for no logical reason. God's methods evolve, but his voice never changes. The one who spoke through burning bushes and angelic dreams still speaks now, but this time through the sacred language of patterns designed specifically for you. You've tried to explain them away because they felt too strange, too mystical, too small to matter. Yet, if the God who created galaxies can speak through wind and flame, why couldn't he speak through the repetition of moments you see? Heaven customizes communication to match your spiritual ear. To one, it's thunder. To another, it's silence. To you, it's symbols. There are times when heaven will repeat a message until obedience is activated. The reason those signs keep following you is because you haven't yet acted on them. The repetition isn't meant to annoy you, it's meant to awaken you. When you finally obey, the signs stop, not because heaven has grown silent, but because you've aligned with its instruction. And yet, even in your confusion, God has been patient. He knows you're learning the difference between superstition and revelation, between random and divine. But soon, you will look back and realize that what you called coincidence was actually confirmation. Every repeated symbol, every synchronized encounter, every perfectly timed word, all part of a coded language written just for you. Heaven is not playing games with you. It's guiding you. You are being trained to hear on a higher level, to see through spiritual eyes, to interpret through divine instinct. Once you learn that language, no deception will ever manipulate you again, because you'll recognize the author's tone. So, take this as your moment of clarity. Those little things you've dismissed, they were heaven-waving flags, pointing you toward your next step. The question isn't, is God speaking? The real question is, will you finally listen? You are not late. You have not missed it. Every sign, every pattern, every whisper was part of leading you right here to this confirmation, to this very moment where your awareness expands and your spirit finally says, I see it now. Right now, chosen one, acknowledge that you hear him. Type 444 below as your prophetic act, not just as a number, but as agreement. Let it symbolize your alignment with divine communication, your willingness to see with spiritual sight. When you do, heaven marks your recognition, because awareness is the first step toward activation. You cannot walk in what you refuse to acknowledge. By admitting that you see the signs, you are telling heaven, I'm ready to respond. And when you respond, new clarity will flood your days. From this moment on, watch with new eyes. Pay attention to patterns, to dreams, to moments of peace. Don't be afraid of repetition, embrace it. It is heaven speaking in your language, rewriting confusion into clarity. You are not lost. You are being guided. The signs have never stopped. You simply needed to remember how to see. When heaven goes silent, that sacred hush that terrifies the impatient heart, yet refines the faithful one. You've been there, haven't you? The prayers that seem to vanish into air. The nights when the heavens felt like stone. When even worship felt like whispering into emptiness. You wondered if you had done something wrong. If your faith had somehow expired. If heaven had turned its face away. But silence, chosen one, is not rejection. It is revelation in disguise. Heaven's silence is not the absence of God. It is the presence of instruction. When God stops speaking, it's not because he has left. It's because he's watching what you will do with what he's already said. Divine silence is the classroom of faith. It teaches you to walk by trust, not by confirmation. It stretches the soul beyond dependence on feelings and draws it into dependence on truth. There are seasons when heaven speaks in floods, and there are seasons when heaven speaks through drought. Both are divine. When you hear him clearly, you are being directed. When you hear nothing, you are being developed. Silence is not the void of God's presence, it's the shaping of your perception. You see, even the prophets experienced it. Elijah, after fire and wind, heard only stillness. Job cried for answers, yet heaven stayed quiet until the time was right. Even Jesus hung on a cross and said, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" And yet, the silence of the Father that day was the sound of salvation unfolding. When heaven goes silent, it's not because you're abandoned, it's because the next word would spoil the test. There are lessons that can only be learned in the dark. Faith that can only mature when the voice of comfort is withheld. The same God who spoke worlds into existence knows when to stop speaking so that your spirit can start growing. Sometimes, silence is strategy. It is heaven's way of teaching you the rhythm of trust, the kind that walks even when direction is unclear. You've been conditioned to think God must always be speaking for you to be safe. But silence means he trusts you to remember what he already said. It means he believes you can walk now without constant reassurance. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 14, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord." That word wait in the ancient tongue means more than standing still. It means to entwine yourself with his presence even when you don't feel it, to wrap your faith around his promises like roots around rock. Waiting in silence isn't weakness, it's worship in its purest form. You've mistaken silence for distance, but heaven has been closer than ever. In the quiet, God has been reconfiguring your heart. He's been removing noise, the distractions, the unnecessary voices, so that when he speaks again, you'll know it's truly him. The silence was never meant to punish you, it was meant to tune you. Think about a musician before a performance. The audience hears nothing while the instrument is being tuned. But the silence is not emptiness, it's preparation. The same applies to you. Heaven has been tuning your spirit for a new song. The pause you feel is not the end, it's the breath before breakthrough. In this stillness, God is watching your posture. Do you worship only when you hear him? Or do you trust him when he's quiet? True maturity isn't built in moments of glory, but in seasons of silence. This is where the roots of faith dig deep. where the heart learns to anchor itself in unseen certainty. When heaven goes silent, your emotions scream louder. Doubt will try to interpret the quiet as abandonment. Fear will try to write your own ending. And impatience will whisper, "Move on. Make your own way." But remember, silence is not a signal to act out of panic. It's an invitation to rest deeper in trust. The more silent heaven becomes, the louder your faith must speak. So, if you find yourself in that still place right now, resist the urge to fill it with noise. Don't rush to replace the quiet with distractions. Sit in it. Listen. Feel the weight of the hush around you. It's not empty, it's holy. You are in the workshop of heaven, and something sacred is being crafted in your unseen life. Soon, the silence will break. The voice that once paused will return, carrying clarity sharper than ever. But when it does, you will no longer need proof to believe you will know him by heart. That's what silence was building all along, intimacy without dependency. You will emerge from this season not as one who doubts when God is quiet, but as one who recognizes his silence as the sound of trust. And when others panic in their pauses, you'll be able to say, "Don't fear the quiet, that's where heaven breathes." The war for your focus, that's the battlefield you've been walking through without even realizing it. It's not fought with swords or flames, but with distractions, exhaustion, and endless noise. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you if he can simply divide your attention. If your mind is scattered, your spirit becomes dull, and when your spirit is dull, you stop discerning the divine. That's why focus has become the rarest form of worship. Every day, the world fights to claim your mind notifications, opinions, fears, desires, endless cycles of comparison. You think you're just scrolling, just listening, just reacting. But every moment of attention is a transaction. Something is either feeding your light or dimming it. Heaven calls for your focus because destiny demands clarity. You've noticed how hard it's become to be still, haven't you? To simply sit in silence without reaching for something to fill it. The enemy knows that if you ever master stillness, you'll start hearing heaven clearly again. That's why distraction is the weapon of this age, not violence, not persecution, but overstimulation. It's the slow suffocation of your spiritual sensitivity. The enemy doesn't need you to sin. He just needs you to scroll past your purpose. He doesn't need you to deny God. He just needs you to delay your obedience long enough for the moment to pass. Every time you choose noise over prayer, reaction over reflection, your inner compass drifts 1 degree further from alignment. And soon, you wonder why you feel lost when you haven't left the room. Chosen one, you are not weak. You are weary. Your mind has been under siege. Your heart has been fighting to stay awake while the world tries to lull you into spiritual sleep. Heaven sees the battle that others can't. It knows the silent fatigue that comes from fighting to stay focused when everything around you screams for your attention. Heaven speaks clearly through the writings of Paul in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 8. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. This is not poetic advice, it's a battle strategy. The mind that meditates on truth cannot be manipulated by lies. The one who guards their focus guards their future. Look at the patterns in your life. Every time you were close to breakthrough, didn't distraction show up? Suddenly, unexpected drama, pointless arguments, strange fatigue, or even a flood of opportunities that looked good but weren't from God. The enemy doesn't fight random battles, he only attacks what carries potential. That's why your focus has been under fire, because your calling terrifies darkness. The war for your focus is also a war for your peace. Anxiety is often the sound of too many voices speaking at once. Heaven whispers, but the world shouts. That's why Jesus often withdrew to lonely places, not to escape, but to recalibrate. Solitude is not isolation, it's consecration. When you pull away from noise, you give heaven room to breathe through you. Think of your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed, every focus a stream of water. If you spend all your water on weeds, the flowers of purpose will wither. You can't grow peace in a garden watered by fear. You can't cultivate revelation in soil crowded by distraction. The war for your focus is fought daily in the quiet choices where your eyes rest, what your heart entertains, what your time feeds. Some days, the most spiritual thing you can do is turn down the volume of the world. The clarity you seek won't come from adding more, it comes from subtracting. It comes when you choose stillness over stimulation, depth over distraction, truth over noise. Focus is not simply attention, it's devotion. To focus is to worship with your mind. If you could see what heaven sees when you reclaim your focus, you'd never take it lightly again. Each time you silence distraction, your spirit sharpens. Each time you resist the urge to escape through entertainment or worry, heaven records your discipline as worship. God doesn't just watch your prayers, He watches your focus, because it reveals who you truly trust. Don't let your attention be stolen by the temporary. Fix it on the eternal. The enemy knows he can't curse what God has blessed, but he can clutter it until you stop seeing the blessing. That's why heaven calls you today to guard your gaze, to watch your thoughts, to reclaim the sanctuary of your own mind. Soon, the fog will lift, the static will fade, and in the stillness that follows, you'll realize heaven was never far, your focus was. The moment you return your attention to Him, clarity returns like sunrise breaking over a long night. Chosen one. This war isn't won by noise or argument. It's won in silence, in the sacred decision to fix your heart again on the one who never stopped watching you. The crossroads moment, this is where you stand now. Chosen one. The place between what was and what will be. Between fear and faith. Comfort and calling. You can feel it in your spirit, the tension of decision. The pull between destiny and delay. Heaven has brought you to this sacred intersection. And everything around you seems to be asking the same question: which way will you go? This is not an ordinary choice. This is a divine turning point. The path you choose next will not just shape your season, it will shape your story. God has prepared the road ahead, but He will not walk it for you. Obedience requires participation. You must step. You must decide. For too long, you have been standing in the middle, one foot in faith, one in fear. You've wanted confirmation before commitment, proof before obedience. But heaven operates differently. The proof comes after the step. Miracles manifest only after movement. The waters of destiny do not part until your feet touch the edge. You may be waiting for a voice, a sign, a vision, but sometimes the silence you're hearing is heaven saying, "You already know." The instructions were given long ago. The delay has not been heaven's hesitation, it's been yours. The door isn't closed, it's waiting for your hand. Every chosen one reaches this moment. Abraham did when God told him to leave his homeland. Moses did when he faced the Red Sea. Esther did when she walked into the throne room uninvited. None of them felt ready. Yet all of them were required to act. Destiny rarely comes wrapped in comfort. It often arrives disguised as inconvenience. The prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. That question still echoes through time, reaching your ears now. Heaven is asking it of you. How long will you stay undecided? Knowing deep down what you are meant to do, the longer you linger at the crossroads, the heavier the weight of hesitation becomes. This is not about punishment, it's about positioning. God is trying to move you into the place of fruitfulness, but he cannot bless what you refuse to begin. The next chapter of your life is already written in heaven's archives, but it will not unfold until you turn the page. You have been circling the same mountain for too long, repeating patterns, revisiting old pain, replaying what-ifs. But there comes a moment when the circle must become a straight line, when wandering must become walking. That moment is now. The beauty of this crossroads is that it reveals what truly drives you. Will you follow convenience or conviction? Will you choose comfort or calling? One path is easy but empty, the other is uncertain but divine. One leads to safety, the other leads to significance. Heaven will never force your hand, but it will hold its breath, waiting for your decision. Maybe fear whispers, what if it doesn't work? But faith counters. What if it does? What if the step you've been afraid to take is the one that unlocks everything? What if obedience becomes the bridge between your prayer and its answer? The unknown isn't your enemy, it's your proving ground. You've been equipped for this. Every test, every delay, every heartbreak was preparing you for this exact decision. The crossroads is not punishment for indecision, it's a stage for demonstration. Heaven wants to show what happens when a human heart dares to obey divine direction. Look closely at your path. The familiar road behind you is comfortable, but empty. The new road before you is uncertain, but alive. One road preserves who you've been, the other reveals who you are becoming. The choice is not about safety, it's about surrender. So here it is, your moment of truth. Don't overthink it. Don't drown in analysis. The whisper you've been hearing, the signs you've been seeing, the heaviness you've been feeling, they all point to one thing. It's time. Time to step. Time to trust. Time to move. Type "I will go" below 3 simple words that shake the gates of hesitation. Let it be your declaration, your first physical act of obedience, because the moment you do, you shift something in the spiritual realm. You declare to heaven, I choose the unknown if it means walking with you. When you decide, clarity follows. Doors swing open. Fear loses its grip. Heaven rushes to meet you on the road you dared to take. The crossroads is not the end, it's the doorway into destiny. All that's waiting on the other side of your yes is proof that obedience was always the key. Your light terrifies darkness, that is why you've been fought so fiercely. The battles, the betrayals, the sudden waves of discouragement, they didn't come because you were weak, they came because you are radiant. Hell doesn't waste energy on the ordinary. It only targets what carries power. You've been feeling resistance not because you are cursed, but because you are crowned. Darkness has studied your light. It knows the power you hold when you remember who you are. That's why it's been trying to exhaust you, not destroy you, but distract you. Because if the enemy can make you forget your own brilliance, he doesn't need to take your anointing, he just needs to dim it. But you were never meant to hide. Chosen one, your light was designed to expose lies, to awaken others still trapped in shadows. You are heaven's lantern in a world that's forgotten how to see. And though the night tries to thicken around you, it cannot overcome what burns within you. You are not the candle, you are the torch. A candle flickers quietly. A torch sets atmospheres ablaze. You don't merely survive darkness, you redefine it. Every room you enter, every word you speak, every act of kindness becomes a spark that shifts spiritual climates. That's why the attacks intensified as you grew stronger, because light expands through pressure. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." That isn't suggestion, it's identity. You are not trying to become light, you are light. The moment you believed, heaven's flame was lit inside you. And nothing, no trauma, no betrayal, no season of failure can extinguish it. Every trial you've endured has been a match striking against the stone of your soul, igniting something brighter than before. Every time you thought you were breaking, you were actually burning into brilliance. The cracks in your heart became the places where light escaped. And now the darkness that once terrified you trembles when you wake. Think of a lighthouse standing tall against the crashing sea. The storms roar. The winds rage. Yet the light never stops turning. Ships in the distance find safety not because the sea calms, but because the light refuses to quit. That's you. Chosen one. You've been that lighthouse, battered but unbroken, shining even when the storm doesn't stop. Your story is light. Your perseverance is light. Your compassion, your prayers, your hidden endurance, all of it radiates the evidence of God's hand upon you. The world may not always applaud it, but heaven documents every flicker of faith. So when you share this message, when you like, when you subscribe, when you sow into the mission, understand it's not about numbers, it's about multiplying light. Every act of engagement is another spark released into someone else's darkness. You never know whose midnight your obedience might brighten. Some of you have felt led to support, to donate, to help this light reach further. If your heart feels that pull, that's not pressure, it's partnership. Just as oil keeps the lamp burning in the temple, your seed becomes the oil that sustains this flame. You are not giving to content. You are fueling a movement of light that's reaching souls across distances you'll never see. Think of it like a lantern chain stretching across the world every time you give. Another light ignites somewhere else. Someone who was about to give up finds hope again. Someone lost in despair reads a line that revives their faith. That's the ripple your obedience creates. You become part of heaven's invisible network of illumination. But even beyond the giving, there's a deeper invitation here to live like light daily, to walk into rooms and change their atmosphere, to listen, to heal, to speak life. Every encouraging word you release, every prayer you whisper, every hand you lift to help, that's you shining. And yes, it's tiring sometimes. The light-bearer rarely rests in comfort. But remember, a lamp doesn't burn itself. It burns with oil. Let the Holy Spirit refill you. Draw close to the flame that fuels you. Don't let bitterness or burnout steal your glow. Rest when needed. But don't retreat. You carry heaven's fire in fragile form, yet it's unbreakable. So keep burning. Chosen one, the darker the night becomes, the more heaven will magnify your glow. Don't underestimate the warmth you bring to those near you. Don't hide your story out of shame. Someone's freedom is waiting in your testimony. You are not a flicker, you are a fire. You are not a shadow chaser, you are a dawn maker. Every like, every share, every word you spread multiplies this movement of light. And if your heart leads you to give, know that your seed doesn't fade, it burns eternally as oil in heaven's lamps. Stand tall, shine freely, and let the world feel what it tried to forget, that light always wins. The breaking before the rising, that sacred space between collapse and rebirth, between ashes and glory. You've felt it deep in your bones, haven't you? That strange paradox where everything seems to fall apart right before something divine emerges. It's not coincidence, it's process. Heaven never raises what hasn't first been broken. The breaking doesn't destroy your purpose, it reveals it. You've been walking through that valley for a while now. The loss, the silence, the pruning, all of it felt cruel. But it was consecration. The things that were stripped away were never meant to survive your next level. The people who left, the doors that closed, the dreams that seemed to die, they weren't rejections, they were refinements. You've been asking God to elevate you, and He's been answering by emptying you. Because you can't rise while carrying what doesn't belong to your new altitude. There's a holy kind of breaking, not the one that crushes your spirit, but the one that cracks open your shell so your true form can emerge. It's the chrysalis before the wings, the earthquake before the resurrection. Heaven allows these fractures not to punish, but to make room for expansion. The old structure can't hold the new oil. Think of how the seed must split before it sprouts. If the outer shell stays intact, life within stays trapped. The breaking is what releases the potential. That's been your journey. Chosen one. What you called failure was really transformation disguised as loss. Every heartbreak was a crack that let the light in. Every disappointment was divine surgery, removing what could not stay. We find in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." This isn't poetic comfort, it's spiritual law. The pressure you've felt isn't random, it's purposeful. The pain you've endured has been constructing capacity. You are being stretched, not destroyed. You are being expanded, not erased. You've been telling yourself, "I'm breaking," but heaven has been saying, "You're blooming." You see shattered pieces, God sees sacred rebuilding. The breaking was never about ending you, it was about exposing what was buried beneath your layers of survival. You can't carry divine power in a heart still sealed by self-protection. That's why the cracks came to let love, grace, and authority flow through. The breaking hurts because it demands surrender. It forces you to stop pretending you're in control. But every time something slipped from your hands, heaven was placing something greater into them. You've been emptied so that you can be filled not with comfort, but with calling. There's a certain silence that follows, breaking not the silence of despair, but of incubation. You've been in that space. It's as if life pressed pause, forcing you to wait while heaven rewrote your story. But listen, the pause is not permanent. The same God who allowed the breaking has already written the rising. You are entering the phase where pain begins to make sense. The fog that clouded your understanding is thinning. Soon, you'll look back and see how each loss was a ladder, each tear a seed, each wound a well. You'll understand why you couldn't skip this chapter, because without it, you wouldn't recognize your strength. Every chosen one walks through the breaking before they rise. Joseph was betrayed before he ruled. Ruth was widowed before she was redeemed. Peter wept before he preached. Even Jesus was broken before he resurrected. Breaking is not the end of divine favor, it's the evidence of it. Heaven doesn't break what it intends to bury, it breaks what it intends to build. So if your world feels like it's crumbling, hold steady. The fragments are forming a new foundation. What's collapsing isn't your destiny, it's your disguise. You are being reshaped into the version of yourself that was written in heaven long before pain entered your story. One day soon, you will rise from this, not quietly, but gloriously. The same people who saw you fall will witness your elevation. The same heart that was crushed will beat stronger than ever. The same voice that trembled in pain will roar in power. Because God does not allow breaking without the intention of resurrection. There is glory waiting on the other side of your grief. The night has been long, but the dawn is already forming. The breaking was heaven's way of preparing you for visibility, because oil only flows from crushed olives, and light only shines through broken vessels. So, lift your head, even if your heart still aches. The story isn't ending here. This is the middle, the holy tension between pain and purpose. The rising is already written. Soon, you'll see why you had to be broken first, because that's how heaven reveals its masterpieces. The prophetic confirmation, that undeniable moment when heaven echoes back what your spirit already knows. You've been sensing it for weeks now, a deep awareness that what's unfolding in your life isn't random. And lately, signs have been intensifying, conversations that align too perfectly, dreams that repeat, timing too exact to be coincidence. These are not random alignments, they are divine confirmations. Heaven is sealing what it already revealed. You've been walking by faith through uncertainty, unsure if what you felt was truly God. Yet now, everything around you begins to echo the same truth. The words spoken through others match the whispers you heard in secret. The very things you journaled in private are surfacing in the mouths of strangers. It's as if the universe itself is bowing in synchronization to heaven's decree over your life. This is what confirmation feels like: peace that follows confusion, light that floods the once dark corners of your heart. God is not a God of guesswork. He confirms His word. He knows your heart longs for reassurance, not because you doubt Him, but because you want to obey Him correctly. And so, He sends evidence not to replace faith, but to strengthen it. There are moments when heaven doesn't send new instructions. Instead, it sends affirmation of the last one. Confirmation is heaven's way of saying, "You heard me right. You've been asking for that assurance, haven't you?" The still small voice saying, "Keep going." The recurring numbers that appear when you begin to doubt. The peace that suddenly quiets your racing thoughts. These are heaven's fingerprints of validation. As the Apostle Paul wrote in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 1, Every matter must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. That divine principle is still alive. God never leaves his people without witnesses. He will send repetition, resonance, and recognition signs that bear witness to what he already spoke. The dream and the scripture, the thought and the conversation, the desire and the opportunity, they align like celestial constellations, declaring, "This is the way. Walk in it." Prophetic confirmation often arrives quietly. It doesn't always come with thunder or lightning. Sometimes it's in the way a verse leaps from the page as if written just for you. Other times, it's a passing phrase that pierces your spirit. Heaven's confirmation is not about volume, it's about precision. It lands exactly where you've been uncertain, healing the doubt you never spoke aloud. And when that happens, everything in you exhales. You no longer chase clarity, you carry it. You no longer question every step, you start walking with confidence. The fog lifts, not because every mystery is solved, but because you've recognized the rhythm of heaven's voice. You understand now that you don't need constant signs, you just need constant sensitivity. Still, when confirmation comes, pause and honor it. Don't rush past it. Heaven didn't have to reassure you, yet it did. Every confirmation is proof that God cares about your peace as much as your purpose. It's his gentle way of saying, "I'm still with you. You're not lost." But here's something to remember. Confirmation doesn't just comfort, it commissions. Once heaven confirms, it expects movement. The sign you've received isn't meant to be admired, it's meant to be obeyed. Every confirmation carries responsibility. When God says, "Yes, this is me," he's also saying, "Now walk in it." Think about it. Noah didn't wait for another rainbow before he built the ark. Gideon didn't ask for more dew once God proved himself. Mary didn't ask for further proof after Gabriel's words. Each of them received their confirmation, then moved in confidence. That's what this season demands of you, not endless waiting, but faithful walking. The confirmations around you right now are not coincidences, they are coordinates. Heaven is drawing a map for your next steps. Pay attention to repeated impressions, to patterns that feel too precise to be random, what others might call luck. You must recognize as language. Heaven speaks fluently through alignment. Look around, even now. Your life is humming with signals, conversations, encounters, scriptures, songs all vibrating in harmony with your destiny. The rhythm you sense is heaven's timing quickening, and you, chosen one, are being invited to respond in faith, to say, "I see it. Lord, I receive it." So right now, seal your agreement. Type 222 inches, the comments below, not as superstition, but as a prophetic act of alignment. 2 is the number of confirmation, of divine witness, of partnership between heaven and earth. Let your comment be your covenant, your amen to what God has already been showing you. When you declare it, heaven records it. From this moment forward, don't question every flicker of divine alignment. Trust that heaven knows how to make things clear when you are truly seeking truth. Confirmation will always find you when your heart is positioned in obedience. You don't have to chase it, it will chase you. You've reached a threshold. The prophetic confirmations surrounding you are heaven's green lights. Walk boldly now. The signs are not coincidences, they are coordinates written by the very hand of God. When you finally say yes, that sacred moment when obedience replaces hesitation and surrender replaces fear, it doesn't come with fireworks. Nor does it always arrive with certainty. Often, it begins quietly, a trembling yes whispered through uncertainty. A heart that dares to trust even when nothing makes sense. Yet that one word, spoken in faith, changes everything. You've wrestled with that word for a long time. You've analyzed it, delayed it, reasoned with it. You've said, maybe later, maybe when I'm ready, maybe when I have enough. But heaven doesn't ask for readiness. It asks for willingness. Readiness comes after the yes. You cannot prepare for destiny without stepping into it. That's why everything began to shift the moment you whispered that word, even before you saw results. The spiritual atmosphere recognized your surrender. Heaven moves at the speed of obedience. When you finally say yes, unseen chains begin to break. Old patterns lose power, and doors that refuse to open suddenly swing wide. It may not happen with thunder or applause. Sometimes, all you feel is peace, not the loud, emotional kind, but the deep, anchoring peace that settles into your bones. It's as if heaven exhales over your life, saying, now we can begin. That peace is the confirmation that your yes reached the throne. Obedience often feels small, at first a phone call, a message, a shift in attitude, a step away from what's familiar. But the smallest yes can create the largest ripple. When Abraham said yes, he left everything he knew and became the father of nations. When Mary said yes, she carried salvation within her womb. When Peter said yes, he stepped out of the boat and walked on what should have drowned him. Each yes rewrote history. You've been standing at the edge of your own moment. And now, finally, you've said it. Yes, Lord. You might not know what it all means yet, but heaven does. That one surrender was enough to reroute your timeline, to shift your trajectory, to unlock assignments that have been waiting for your agreement. As the Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 2, verse 13, for it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose. Your yes wasn't born from your own strength, it was birthed by divine will. God himself planted that willingness inside you. Even the desire to obey was a gift. That's why the weight you once felt has started to lift. You are no longer wrestling against heaven, you are flowing with it. When you say yes, heaven begins to rearrange things around you. People shift. Opportunities appear. Clarity returns. It's as though invisible hands begin to move every piece into place. Suddenly, what used to drain you no longer interests you. What once terrified you now feels like destiny. This is the mysterious alignment of obedience, the peace that surpasses understanding, guiding you toward purpose without needing permission from logic. But the yes also exposes things. It reveals who was truly for you and who was attached to your stagnation. Don't be surprised if relationships fade or environments feel uncomfortable. When you rise, not everyone can breathe your new altitude. Some will misunderstand, others will resist, but that's the cost of transformation. Still, you are not alone. Every soul that ever carried divine fire has walked through this moment of surrender. Moses said yes and faced Pharaoh. Esther said yes and risked her crown. Paul said yes and endured chains. Each of them found freedom on the other side of fear. You are part of that same lineage, those who dared to say yes when everything screamed no. Obedience is not the end of struggle, it's the beginning of significance. Your yes will be tested not to break you, but to prove you. Heaven doesn't test to expose weakness, it tests to reveal strength. Every challenge that follows is heaven's way of saying, I trust you with this level. Don't expect your yes to be comfortable. Expect it to be powerful. Expect it to birth things in you that fear tried to abort. Expect it to stretch your faith until you recognize that obedience is not a burden, it's liberation. And here's the mystery: once you say yes, you never truly go back. Something changes in the wiring of your spirit. Disobedience no longer fits. Compromise becomes unbearable. You've tasted the freedom of alignment. And now your soul refuses to settle for less. Soon, you'll look back and realize that the hardest part was not obeying, it was delaying. Every blessing that seemed distant was waiting on your willingness. Every promise that felt silent was waiting on your surrender. Heaven wasn't withholding, it was waiting for your yes to open the gates. That single act of obedience has already begun rewriting your life. You won't fully see it yet, but heaven's script has shifted. You've moved from wandering to walking, from surviving to soaring. The yes you just gave will echo in eternity, because when one chosen one obeys, heaven's light breaks through darkness once again. Becoming heaven's messenger, that is the transformation unfolding within you now. You are no longer simply receiving words, you are becoming one. The same voice that once whispered direction into your soul now wants to speak through you. You've moved from being comforted by revelation to carrying it. Heaven has chosen you to be a living transmission of divine truth. When God marks a person as his messenger, it rarely looks glamorous. The anointing doesn't arrive with applause, it arrives with responsibility. It costs privacy, comfort, and misunderstanding. The call to speak for heaven means you must often stand alone, misunderstood by those who still hear only the noise of this world. Yet, there is beauty in that isolation. It is the soundproof room where heaven trains your voice. The messages you carry will not come from theory, but from experience. The pain you survived has become language. The breaking that once silenced you has now given you vocabulary that reaches others in their darkness. You are not speaking ideas, you are delivering healing. The world needs not perfection, but authenticity, the kind that bleeds, heals, and still believes. Heaven doesn't give microphones to those who seek attention, it gives them to those who seek transformation. That is why your silence was long. God was forming weight behind your words. Empty voices echo, but purified ones penetrate. What you carry now is not just opinion, it's revelation forged through endurance. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, recorded in chapter 1, verse 9. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth. That same divine touch rests on you. Your mouth, your tone, your presence, all becoming instruments of divine frequency. When you speak, it will not just be sound, it will be spirit. People won't remember your name, they'll remember how heaven felt when you spoke. But before God sends a messenger, he sanctifies one. That's why he had to strip you of certain habits, detach you from certain circles, and silence certain desires. You cannot carry heaven's sound while still tuned to earth's static. The anointing demands separation, not to isolate you, but to insulate you. Your solitude has been sacred schooling. In that hidden place, God taught you how to discern His tone, how to know the difference between emotion and instruction, between impulse and inspiration. He's teaching you how to pause before speaking, how to breathe between revelations, how to wait until the words burn within you before releasing them. You are learning the sacred rhythm of heaven's speech, slow, steady, piercing. Being heaven's messenger isn't about eloquence, it's about essence. You could stumble over words and still pierce a heart. Because authority is not in vocabulary, it's in authenticity. The spirit inside you interprets even your trembling. You don't need to perform, you only need to yield. And yet, with this calling comes weight. Every message you carry must be wrapped in humility. Every truth spoken with tenderness. You are not a hammer sent to break people, you are a flame sent to warm them. Your words will confront, but they will also comfort. They will reveal truth, but they will always lead back to love. Heaven will test your motives continually. It will ask, are you speaking to be heard or to heal? Each time you choose purity over pride, your voice gains more clarity. Each time you speak what is hard but holy, heaven amplifies your reach. You are not speaking for God as if He were distant. You are speaking from God because He lives within you. There will be times when you'll feel empty, when the words won't come, when heaven feels quiet again. Don't panic. The silence between messages is incubation. Every prophet, every messenger, every vessel has moments when heaven pauses to refill. Don't rush to speak from emptiness. Wait until the words burn again. True messengers don't manufacture revelation, they wait for fire. And when the fire comes, release it with compassion. Speak to heal, not to impress. The same grace that rescued you is now being poured through you to reach others. Some will weep, some will awaken, some will resist, but your task is not results. It's obedience. Your life has become a scroll being read by others. Each act of kindness, a verse. Each word of encouragement, a spark of prophecy. You are not merely speaking the message, you are the message. Heaven's mercy, wearing human form, the divine, expressed through scars. So, walk with reverence. Chosen one, you have become heaven's echo in a weary world. The same God who once whispered into your silence now trusts you to carry His sound into the silence of others. That is the highest honor, to be trusted with His voice. Guarding the flame that is the sacred responsibility of every chosen one. You have received something holy, something costly. The fire that burns within you was not lit by human hands, and it must not be allowed to fade through human carelessness. You carry heaven's light in fragile form in your heart. Your words, your walk. That flame is both your weapon and your witness. Fire changes everything it touches. It purifies. It illuminates. It consumes. And yet, fire is fragile. It needs tending. That's why this season is about stewardship. The enemy cannot steal your anointing, but he can distract you until you neglect it. If he can't put out your fire, he'll try to smother it with noise, with exhaustion, with comparison, with comfort. Guarding the flame means choosing intentional focus in a world addicted to distraction. Think of yourself as a lantern in the wind. Every gust of doubt, every storm of criticism, every cold wave of disappointment will try to extinguish your light. But a wise flame keeper doesn't curse the wind, they shield the glass. They lean close, protect the glow, and feed it until the storm passes. That's what you must do now. Your flame is precious because it was born of cost. Heaven never gives light without responsibility. The Spirit placed that fire inside you not to decorate your life, but to direct it. It burns as long as you keep feeding it through prayer, through humility, through obedience. If you neglect the altar of your heart, the embers grow cold. But if you tend it faithfully, even a faint flicker can reignite into a blaze that lights generations. The Apostle Paul wrote in his second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 6, "Fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands." That verse is more than advice, it's instruction. The fire of purpose doesn't stay alive by accident. It stays alive through daily discipline, through conscious nurturing of your spiritual life. Guarding the flame doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means interacting with it without losing your fire's purity. It's learning to walk through chaos without letting smoke cloud your clarity. It's about protecting your peace, not from people, but from patterns that drain your spirit. Some conversations, some atmospheres, some habits, they are buckets of water to your fire. Walk wisely. Every true flame keeper understands that fire needs both oxygen and boundaries. Too little air and it suffocates. Too much and it spreads destructively. Balance is holy. Rest when you need to. Speak when heaven prompts. Burn bright, but don't burn out. The same light that draws others can consume you if you neglect your own renewal. Think of the fire as a sacred garden. The soil is your heart. The fuel is your devotion. When you tend it daily, it glows steadily, warming everything it touches. But when you ignore it, weeds of weariness begin to choke its beauty. Guarding the flame is not just a task, it's a rhythm. Worship, breathe, reflect, feed, repeat. And as you keep that rhythm, remember, flames spread when shared. Every time you like, share, or comment on a message that carries truth, you pass the torch forward. You're not just interacting, you're igniting. You never know whose darkness will be pierced by that simple act. When you subscribe, you're joining a circle of light bearers across nations, each one adding their flame to a global altar of hope. If these words have warmed your spirit, if you felt heaven stir through them, you can help this light travel further, not out of obligation, but out of gratitude. Every offering, every seed, every act of support becomes oil for the lamp, helping this message reach hearts that still sit in shadow. What we do together is not commerce, it's kingdom. Your generosity isn't payment, it's partnership. Think of it like tending a communal fire on a cold night. Each person brings a little wood, a little oil, and together the blaze grows brighter. Some bring prayer, some bring presence, some bring provision, all are sacred. Together we ensure that no soul has to wander without warmth. So take a moment to reflect. How has this fire changed you? Leave a comment, share what the flame has healed, taught, or rekindled in you. Your words might be the spark that reignites someone else's hope. And when you share, when you subscribe, when you help sustain the fire, you are not promoting a platform, you are preserving a light that hell itself has tried to extinguish. Guard your flame, chosen one. Protect it from bitterness. Feed it with truth. Let your life become the living proof that no storm, no shadow, no struggle can put out a fire lit by heaven's breath. Walking in divine acceleration, that's the season you're stepping into now. The slow pace, the endless waiting, the detours that seem to lead nowhere they are ending. Heaven has recalibrated your timeline. What once took years will now unfold in moments. Not because you've rushed, but because you've finally aligned. Acceleration is not about speed, it's about synchronization. When your heart beats in rhythm with heaven, time bends to purpose. For so long, it felt as if everything in your life moved in slow motion. You prayed, you prepared, you planted, but harvest seemed to delay. Others advanced while you stayed still. You watched doors open for people who didn't pray as much, didn't believe as hard, and you wondered if God had forgotten your lane. But heaven never forgot, it was simply waiting for alignment. Divine timing isn't denial, it's orchestration. Acceleration begins the moment obedience and readiness intersect. God does not rush, He redeems time. Every season that felt wasted is being restored. The years of obscurity were not punishment, they were foundation. Heaven builds deep before it builds high. And now, what took others decades to learn, you will grasp in moments because the Spirit Himself will quicken your understanding. Walking in divine acceleration means heaven starts collapsing delays. Connections appear without effort. Favor flows without striving. Answers arrive without struggle. The same path that once felt uphill suddenly straightens beneath your feet. It's not coincidence, it's divine propulsion. Heaven is multiplying momentum, not because you chased it, but because you waited faithfully. According to what is revealed in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 22, the least of you will become 1,000, the smallest a mighty nation. I am the Lord. In its time I will do this swiftly. That word, swiftly, is heaven's signature over your next chapter. God does not deal in haste, He deals in precision. When He moves, everything that once resisted must bow to His pace. Acceleration doesn't mean skipping process, it means the process no longer drags. The tests you've endured now serve as shortcuts because you've learned their lessons. The pain that once delayed you has become fuel. Even your wounds have gained wisdom, and wisdom travels faster than worry ever could. You are no longer crawling through confusion, you are gliding through clarity. But divine acceleration is not just external. It happens first within your thoughts sharpen, your discernment heightens, your spiritual reflexes quicken. You begin to notice what you once ignored, respond faster to God's whispers, and recover quicker from disappointments. Heaven upgrades your inner system to handle the speed of purpose. Still, acceleration requires stewardship. Moving faster doesn't mean losing focus. Just because doors fly open doesn't mean everyone is yours to enter. Acceleration without discernment leads to burnout. This is why the Holy Spirit walks beside you, like wind guiding a sail. You don't control the direction, you cooperate with it. Imagine an eagle soaring. It doesn't flap frantically, it catches the current. It rises higher not by striving, but by sensing the invisible wind. That's divine acceleration. You no longer push through force, you glide through flow. You've learned to recognize the difference between hustle and holy momentum. The former drains, the latter renews. You'll notice that things you struggled for will now come with ease, not because life is simpler, but because you've changed. You've learned the rhythm of rest and readiness. Heaven cannot accelerate the unanchored. And that's why the waiting was necessary. You had to learn how to stay grounded while moving fast. A rocket may reach space in minutes, but only because it spent years being built in stillness. Don't fear this speed. You were built for it. The delays prepared your structure. The waiting trained your reflexes. You will not be overwhelmed by what's coming. You will be empowered by it. Heaven will move people, places, and opportunities into alignment with such precision that it will feel surreal. You'll call it sudden, but heaven will call it scheduled. And even in the midst of acceleration, remember this: speed is not success, stewardship is. God accelerates not to impress, but to impact. The blessings arriving quickly are not rewards, they are resources. You are being entrusted with influence, visibility, and favor for the sake of purpose. Use them wisely. Soon, you will find yourself walking through doors that once terrified you. Conversations that used to intimidate you will now flow effortlessly. The same environment that once rejected you will now recognize you. This is what happens when heaven marks your steps. Divine acceleration doesn't bypass process, it redeems it, beautifies it, glorifies it. You will look around and realize that nothing about your surroundings changed. You did. And because you did, time itself had to adjust. Heaven's rhythm overtook your routine, and suddenly, the impossible became inevitable. That's what divine acceleration feels like when purpose and timing collide, and everything aligns with divine ease. Crowned in glory, that is where this entire journey has been leading you. Through every valley, every silence, every breaking, every obedience. Heaven has been crafting a crown, not one made of metal or jewels, but of endurance, faith, and unwavering love. You are not being rewarded for perfection, you are being recognized for persistence, for holding the line when your strength was gone, for believing when belief itself hurt, for staying when walking away seemed easier. The crown you wear is invisible to the world but radiant in the spirit. It was forged in the furnace of your pain and polished by your patience. Every tear you shed became a drop of oil that now gleams upon it. This crown is not about triumph over others, it is triumph over yourself, the old you that doubted, that feared, that hesitated. You have overcome not because you never fell, but because you never stopped rising. Crowning in glory is not a ceremony, it's a transformation. It happens quietly, like dawn breaking after a long night. One day, you simply wake up and realize that peace has replaced panic, wisdom has replaced worry, and grace has replaced guilt. You begin to walk differently, not with pride, but with a calm awareness of divine identity. You are no longer trying to earn favor, you are living from it. Heaven's crowns are not placed on heads, they're placed on hearts. And your heart, chosen one, has been shaped into something heaven can trust. The weight of this crown is not meant to burden you, it balances you. It reminds you that glory is not glitter, it is gravity, the holy pull that keeps you rooted while you shine. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, found in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. That promise is not a metaphor, it's a spiritual reality. You have endured, you have stood the test, and heaven is fulfilling its word over you. Your crown represents authority, not domination, but dominion, the power to command peace in storms, to stand unshaken amid chaos, to speak life into what others call impossible. You've learned that authority doesn't come from position, but from posture, from bowing low before God so you can rise high in purpose. Every time you chose humility over revenge, compassion over cynicism, faith over fear, another jewel was added to your crown. Now, the world may never see this glory the way heaven does. It won't be announced with trumpets or public recognition. It will be known by the atmosphere you carry. People will sense something different, not loud, not showy, but weighty. When you walk into rooms, peace will follow. When you speak, hearts will soften. When you pray, things will move. That's the authority of a crowned soul. Being crowned doesn't mean the absence of warfare. It means victory within warfare. You may still face storms, but now you know how to stand still and watch the waves bow. You may still feel pressure, but it no longer defines you. Glory isn't about escaping battle, it's about shining through it. This crown also carries responsibility. To wear it well, you must remember what it cost. Never forget the nights of loneliness, the hours of silence, the tears nobody saw. Those memories keep pride from touching your heart. A true crown bearer never forgets the fire that formed their gold. Gratitude becomes your guardrail, humility your shield. And yet, this crown is not the end, it's the beginning of your reign in purpose. Heaven crowns not to close a chapter, but to commission one. You are stepping into the fullness of what you were always meant to be, a reflection of divine resilience, a walking testimony of grace. Your life will now serve as proof that broken people can still bear holy fire. The journey ahead will still require courage. But now you carry the wisdom of scars. You've seen darkness and refused to become it. You've faced endings and discovered beginnings within them. You've died to who you were, only to rise as who you were destined to be. That's what it means to be crowned, to become the evidence of transformation itself. As you walk forward, carry your crown quietly. It doesn't need to be displayed, it needs to be lived. Let the world see it not in gold or words, but in the way you forgive, the way you stand, the way you love. That is the true mark of glory, humility that still shines. Heaven rejoices over you now. The long refining has come to completion. You stand, radiant, unshakable, crowned in the light of divine purpose. The same God who began your journey now marks it with completion. And though the crown rests unseen, its brilliance fills every step you take from here on. You have not just survived the process, you have become it. And now, chosen one, you walk forward not in the ashes of your past, but in the glow of your glory. Beloved chosen one, you've reached the end of this message, yet it isn't really an ending. It's the beginning of a higher walk, the continuation of a divine dialogue between heaven and your spirit. Everything you've heard, every word that stirred your heart, was meant to remind you of who you are, chosen, crowned, and called. You are not walking alone anymore. You carry heaven's mark, and your story now becomes the message others will need to hear. If these words have spoken to something deep within you, if they've helped you breathe again, helped you see again, then let that gratitude become movement. Like this message as a way of saying, I receive it. Share it. So, the same light that reached you can reach another weary soul who's still scrolling through shadows. Your simple act might be the very spark someone else is praying for tonight. Leave a comment below. Write what part of this journey touched your heart most. Your words matter more than you realize. They don't just fill a space, they become testimony. And when others read them, they'll know they're not alone in their awakening. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Stay connected, not just to content, but to community, to a stream of light, truth, and strength that heaven continues to pour through messages like this. Every time you return, you're adding your flame to a growing circle of faith-filled hearts around the world. Let this moment be your quiet amen. You have heard heaven, you have answered, and now you walk forward radiant, unshakable, alive.